Nono Maloyi is the new chairperson of the North West ANC. The results announced in the early hours of this morning at the Rustenburg Civic Centre. This is where the party's 9th provincial conference was taking place. Let's get some analysis now, and we're joined by political analyst Sandile Swana, who talks to us via the virtual platform. Mr. Swana, let's start with the reports coming out late yesterday around Supra Mapilo. This is the former chairperson of the ANC in the North West, someone who was understood to be in the running for this, but those reports suggesting that he had pulled out because he is eyeing a position in the NEC come December. Your thoughts on that?
I think that development is impressive on two counts. The first count is what we saw in KZN, where a particular faction presented a wide array of candidates and so on and so forth, and almost disguising the true candidates. And then eventually the unexpected happened. Candidates that were thought to be underdogs won. So that strategy seems to be gaining currency. The other one, which is important, is that this platform gave, this opportunity gave, what happened here gave Supra the chance to announce that he's still in the game and he wants the bigger office. He wants higher office.
Yeah.
So that is what it is. And many people have run around and said, yeah, CR17 is finishing RET forces, this, that, and the other. But they are, you know, floating like a butterfly and stinging like a bee.
Let's talk about Nono Maloyi. That's the new chairperson in the Northwest. Who is he, and how should or where should we place him in this factionalized African National Congress?
Yes, you will have seen the reports that Nono comes from the N12 cabal of the Northwest, which is that belt along Potchefstroom, Klerksdorp, all those areas, which is a power base, a major power base within the ANC politics of the Northwest. What then will worry you is that Nono comes back as a former MEC. So bearing in mind that the last time we saw some semblance of dignity in the Northwest was during the days of Pupo Molefe, who was running that province as premier. After that, it has been chaos, total 100% chaos, and that chaos simply deepened when Supra Mahumapilo became in charge. The rescuers, Mohoro and this Bushi, both of them could not impress us with performance. So this Nono comes from a long tradition of poor performance. I would put it that way. I've struggled to locate any report that demonstrates that is a superior performer of the type that we're looking for at this stage. He's also been in the National Assembly and so on, but there's nothing distinguishing him in the records. And the records we have to consider here would be the records produced by the AG and similar type of reports that come from the oversight bodies and the audit review bodies.
Yeah. Now that Bushimape has lost out in this race, Mr. Swana, it then places the conversation, or the spotlight focuses then on the so-called two centers of power. He is the serving premier of the Northwest, that's Bushimape. There's a new chairperson of the party, and that's Nono Maloyi. The two centers of power argument comes into play. Let's listen first to what Mr. Maloyi had to tell this channel early this morning about that very topic of two centers of power. Let's have a listen.
There are no two centers of power. The center is one, and that center is the ANC. All other people, whether it's the premier, it's a member of the executive council, it's a councillor, and so on, they are all deployed by the ANC. and they report to the ANC, which is the center of power. So there are no two centers of power.
There are no two centers of power. Well, if you go by the experience which we have seen in KwaZulu-Natal, should we take him at his word?
First of all, let us say politically and historically, his argument is correct. The people who came up with these two centers of power are the ones who wanted to remove Thabo Mbeki. When Zuma and company, the Mandashes of the Zuma faction, the Polokwane Brigade, wanted to get rid of Thabo, that's when they came up with this argument. Had been argued the same that Nono is arguing it is correct. However, in practice, because of hatred and factionalism in the ANC, what has happened is that once a particular faction wins, they then feel that the other person who is not part of their faction, who is in office in the state where the resources are, must be removed, because that person is not going to listen to them in the other things, secret things that they want to do.
Mr. Swana, let's leave the conversation there, and I hope to talk to you as time edges ever so close to that December conference. Sandile Swana, political analyst.